Lead Time is a weekly dose of leadership insights and interviews from Tim Allman and Jake Bessling. Lead Time is for any leader living in a busy world looking to be inspired, equipped, and empowered to lead others to their fullest potential. This is Lead Time.
Welcome to Lead Time.
Yeah, baby.
I am Pastor Jake Bessling here with Pastor Tim Allman. We are pastors, we're fathers, we're husbands, we're leaders. One leader, two leaders among many leaders here at Christ Greenfield. We are in a new dig here, new spot.
This is pretty sweet. You are checking out season 3. We pray that the joy of Jesus is in your heart today. We are talking about the power of moments. This is a pretty epic moment right here to be here in this studio. If you're listening to us, that's great. You're working out, having fun. But if you want to get on YouTube or on our website, cglchurch.org/lead time, you can see some new digs, and we can't wait for powerful, powerful interviews to come. But today, it's just Jake and Tim. But this is gonna be cool.
Yeah, Epic Moments, season 3, and we believe that eternities are changed when the leader grows. So thanks for choosing to grow today. As a pastor, I hope that everyone comes to our online campus and any of the 2 campuses that we have, and they leave feeling just inspired, awe and wonder at the glory and goodness of Jesus. And they have this powerful moment. And I would pray, I think you would too, right, that they would remember that not just for a week or 2, but even a decade after, they would look back and think, wow, that moment really changed my life. So good news to start here, no matter what organization you lead, and if you're in a church leading, that the miraculous, the ordained moments, the out of this world, epic, experiential, adventurous experiences with Jesus are ones that only He can orchestrate. And we pray that they would happen. And when they do, all glory goes to Jesus for that amazing work.
You know, I look back, Pastor Jake, about being a young man. Many of you know my dad's a pastor. I don't necessarily remember a lot of his sermons. Sorry, Dad.
Sure.
I remember he talked about Jesus and the joy and the peace, but I remember in my home congregations how I felt, right? I felt loved, I felt known, Jesus was there. And I think that's what people are yearning for in the moments, is to feel something that's different. Something that overwhelms the mundane or the fear, the anxiety, the worry that is just the undercurrent of life. We yearn to experience God, the awe and wonder of experiencing moments with God. So thanks, Dad, for an amazing church experience.
Yeah, Craig Rochelle, talks about it, having the it factor.
Yep.
And you can walk into different churches and feel it. And it's hard to pin down what it is, but you know when you don't have it, and you know when you do have it. You know when this church has it. I pray that you feel that Christ Greenfield has it. I pray the church you go to, you feel like it is there. But as leaders in God's created and ordered world, no matter what organization you lead, you are the chief leader to help orchestrate powerful, epic moments for your clients, for your employees, for your guests, no matter who would that would be.
Oftentimes we use the term CEO, Chief Executive Officer. Maybe you replace the E, Chief Experience Officer.
There it is.
Was that even in the notes?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
On the spot. That was epic. Chief Experience Officer. In an epic moment, it's a memorable moment, it's impactful. Think about this. What are some of those moments that you've ever had in life, in church, maybe at your place of work? These epic moments I've had in Christian churches over my years as I reflected on it. A couple years back when I was in high school, we were visiting a church. I lived in Houston, Texas, visiting another church for a baptism of a friend. We weren't going to go back to the church. The church didn't know that. We get home at noon, and by 1 o'clock, they didn't even ring the doorbell because we didn't have one. They didn't even knock. They left a plant on our porch, and it said, "Thanks for coming to church. We'd love to see you soon."
What kind of plant?
Website. I have no remembrance of what that was plant was, but because I was a little kid and I didn't care about plants. But I was like, wow, this really registered with me that a church within an hour would already have driven to our house and left this for us. I thought it was a good way an epic thing to do. Another epic moment in church, you go through this thing in some churches called confirmation. And it's sometimes arduous, it's heavy, there's a lot going on with it. But at the end of it, I remember my church gave me this stole to wear. Everyone got to wear this like patterned stole. They gave you certificates. They had you line up, and the pastor said, with the whole congregation, this was socially appropriate at the time, hug them, give them handshakes, hellos. And I just felt when I came back to church the next week, because of the epic nature of orchestrating that event, that I felt closer to the congregation. Because they cared, because they spent the time doing that. A couple years ago, I visited a local church here, and I was blown away by the hospitality. That when I walked on campus, someone greeted me and they said, "Are you a first-time visitor?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." They saw my child and they walked me to a specific tent where it was only for new people. And then someone else, I was handed off to someone that then walked me to the children's space. Then from the children's space, they walked me into worship. They also gave me a free coupon at their cafe. They had a cafe for a free drink up to $4.99. I took all $4.99 of that. And it was an epic experience just to say, wow, these people really care. They don't know me from Adam, and they really care. Tim, have you had any epic moments like that in churches?
So I think to summarize what you were saying, as you grow up, there were moments where you were recognized. Recognition is a huge thing. I mean, it's so intimately connected to hospitality. You were recognized in a special way. So epic moments of recognition for me growing up. Having the hand not only of my dad, but other men of the church at Texas Stadium.
Yeah. He told me about that.
In Dallas. And I was 13 years old. It was the beginning of Promise Keepers, the big movement. So picture, 50,000 plus men in a huge football stadium giving praise and honor to the crucified and risen Jesus. It was an epic moment. I don't think I'd ever had, you've seen me if you've hung out at all, have tears of just joy at the goodness of Jesus. That was, I believe, one of those pivotal times. It's something about that transitional from adolescence to kind of growing into young adulthood. You think of those stories. And a little side note, if you weren't recognized, you can have some serious wounds that you need to go back and think about when you were maybe 12, 13, 14. But for me, just being in a loving, caring environment, both at Dallas Stadium as well as I had five, you talk about confirmation, I had 5 confirmands, and I studied my face off for our question and answer time. And my dad would go through, give me the definition of justification or something like that. And I had, it's Christ's works, his righteousness imputed to me fully out of his divine mercy and grace. I don't even know if that's the correct answer, but like studying that so deeply, and then standing in front of a wide, it was on a Saturday night, and the church felt packed. It was probably like 50 to 100 people. But then after we were all done, just boom. Woo! Yeah, praise Jesus.
They were
so those
for you.
epic moments of recognition, really for me and us doing what we do right now, were catalytic toward this moment.
That's amazing. So we are looking today at this book, The Power of Moments by Chip Heath and Dan Heath. They're brothers that have focused on a lot of good data, a lot of impactful stories. Pick it up at your local bookstore. Amazon will have it to you there quickly, I'm sure, as well. And so they look at these epic moments. Maybe.
Things are slowed down.
Slowed down at coronavirus.
Okay. Yeah.
They look at these epic moments, and they basically say, why are some moments more memorable than others? Because we have a lot of moments. Every day you're having moments. And what rises to the top and what just kind of goes to the surface. So let's go to Disneyland for a moment.
Yeah.
Let's take a trip to Disneyland.
You can't right now. So we're going to go in our brains.
in our brains.
We're going to imagine
going to Disneyland. So Tim goes to Disneyland, and I'm going to text you every hour and say, how is the experience going? And 0, 1, 2 is just like terrible and awful. 5's in the middle, and 10 is terrific, okay? So you're going to Disneyland, you have 3 kids, you have your wife, and you're probably at like a 7, maybe? What do you think? Entering the park,
sure,
you're excited and all that. What maybe would set you off to have a lower number, maybe at 10 o'clock in the morning?
My kids really want to ride a ride that I know is not worth the hour and a half or 2 hour wait.
An hour and a half. So I text you and you're like, we're waiting in line, they want to ride, and so you're having an awful time. They're probably also having an awful time because they want to ride it now. And so let's just give you maybe a 4.5 or something
I'm a
like
3
that.
or 4.
So then maybe it's noon and you've paid $85 for a couple cheeseburgers and you've waited in a long line once again. Kind of rate that experience at noon.
Yeah, no, that's a 3.
That's a 3. But
it's ridiculous.
It's 1 o'clock, and somehow magically you've just kept smelling. I don't know if you know, they pipe in like the smell of
joy, the smell
cookies,
of joy,
the smell of cookies into the park, and you've waited 30 minutes and you've ridden Magic Mountain, and the kids loved it.
Yeah, they
and
did.
you are a father that just loves to see the joy of your kids, and so give yourself a rating there.
Oh, that's a 8.5 to a 9, man.
Oh,
For the
a
kids,
9,
it's a 10.
A 10.
Oh, yeah.
Then at the end of the day, you buy Mickey Mouse ears for the whole family, and it's cold out, so jackets that represent Disney. They are smiling, beaming ear to ear. Had enough sugar, you give yourself.
Yeah, and I'm watching the fireworks at the end of the. Yeah, no, we're at a 9 to a 10, man.
9 to a 10.
Next
okay.
level.
Now, when you average all of those out, psychologists have done these studies on this. They've seen that it's really like a 6.5. The whole day was really a 6.5. Now, cool. We had just some visitors in here. So, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. So, when you average that out to a 6.5, I'm going to text you a month later, and you're not going to actually tell me 6.5.
No.
You're going to actually probably be highlighted on the 9 or the 10 of those specific moments that have risen to the top. Why is that? It's a phenomena called duration neglect, right? Duration neglect. Consider that over time, you look back on an experience, and even though there's some mediocre and there's some lower moments, you just tend to really glamorize, romanticize those epic moments.
Which is fascinating because I think in the mundane today, I think the human brain and a lot of the research I've done, Jake, says we're going to probably go toward the negative. A lot of our psychology is going to gravitate toward the negative unless it's a moment.
Yep.
Right? So that is the power of the epic moment.
Yeah, I mean, if it was the whole day was awful,
right?
I mean, and all
you're
these
not going to get to the 9 or 10.
Not going to get to that. But in general, even though a 6.5 can be elevated to the 9. Here's another study that I thought was really intriguing about duration neglect. Consider this experiment. So there's 3 painful trials that this group went through. The first one is you submerged your hands for 60 seconds in water that was 57 degrees.
That's cold, right?
Cold, right? 60 seconds, 57 degrees, which is colder. Water is colder like that than just the air or anything like that. The second trial they did was 60 seconds at 57 degrees, but for the last 30 seconds, so 90 seconds total, it was 59 degrees, just 2 clicks up. Huh. The third trial, they were allowed to choose. Do you want to do the first experiment? And they didn't really know the change in water temp, or the second experiment. So what do you think they chose?
Can I guess? Because I don't even know. I would probably choose the second one.
Why?
Because you close with pleasure.
Yep, that's right. So I thought I didn't experience that, but on the stats, you were like, well, it's not that big of a deal. It was just 2 degrees. I would choose option 1, but 70% of the time, they chose option 2, and they duration neglect. They didn't think about the 90 seconds, but it ended with an epic moment of pleasure because just those 2 degrees made a big difference. It stood out. So why does all this matter? We can help create these epic moments that even though some things can be painful and hard or just kind of minutia, there's certain epic moments that rise to the top.
Oh, can I apply that to the church just real quick? So
apply it.
If you are not in a community where you are constantly innovating, you're gonna miss out, because that 2% degree increase over time, 2% growth, man, it grows exponentially. If you're in a learning, evolving, you always wanna refine, you wanna create more and more epic moments. We were at a 57, now we're at a 59, and in time we're gonna be at an 80, you know? And people are gonna keep coming back, wanting to be engaged, wanting to help be a part of making it as amazing as possible. Really, that's Disney's secret, getting a lot of really creative people, different personalities, all looking to just simple, incremental changes. And I have, not to go too far into our community, if you've been following us for the past 6 months or so, you have seen simple, refining, stage-based. Hopefully it's producing better experiences for you so you can encounter Jesus. So I love that. I love that paradigm. I'm choosing the 90 seconds, 57 to 59 all day long.
I love it. I love it. So these guys define epic moments as short experiences, so that's good. Short experiences that are both memorable and meaningful. Short could be 1 minute, it could be a whole month, it could be a whole year. And they use an acronym, epic moments. And the E stands for elevation, the P for pride, I for insights, and C for connection. So let's talk elevation. What is it? These are moments that rise above the everyday, elevation. And as we go through this, apply it in your own context. Times to be savored, moments that make us feel engaged more, joyful, motivated, excited. They could be known as peaks. Peaks. Have you heard of the Magic Castle Hotel in LA?
Yeah, but I've not been there.
I haven't either. So the Magic Castle Hotel in LA has better marks than the Ritz-Carlton, the Marriott's, than pretty much any hotel there. And you go to their website and you're like, it's kind of outdated furniture. There's nothing really epic on the surface. So here's what makes it epic in all the reviews. They have a red cherry phone that's at the pool, and at any time you can answer or pick up that phone, and an old phone, you know, you have to pick it up with a cord, and you call the front desk, and it's actually not the front desk, it's only to a specific person that has popsicles. And within minutes, someone will come poolside with a white glove on, with a platter, and your choice of popsicles. People love this popsicle hotline. The kids call it all the time, and the staff never gets tired of delivering popsicles. If you want your laundry done that day at the Magic Castle Hotel, you will have your laundry done for free. And then at the end of the day, it's wrapped in butcher paper, tied together, folded, and there's a little spring of lavender on the top.
I love lavender.
Epic moments. So anytime you go on their website or Yelp to see the reviews, it's not about the furniture. It's not about the pool. It's about the popsicle hotline, and it's about the free things that they're giving. Now, it's funny too, because you're really kind of paying for it. But the over-top hospitality, the uniqueness of everything really gets it. So people will forgive the smaller things that are inadequate and have this element of surprise for them. It's pretty incredible.
So what would be the elevated experience in a church, in a faith community, or in another business? What is the hotline that you pick up where all of your wildest popsicle-filled fantasies are brought to life? I don't know. I mean, do you want it? Let's just spend like 30 seconds dreaming about, we're looking out into our courtyard right now. What would an experience be as you move into our courtyard where you are recognized and your spirit is elevated? Any ideas off the top of your head?
Yeah, I mean, a simple one here, but really profound, would be before people even come into the courtyard, on your website, you could say, and we're exploring this here, plan a visit. So that you already know someone's planning to visit. The Disneyland, all these parks do that.
Yeah.
And when they get into the parking lot, their name is printed off on a tag for their parking space.
That's right.
Yeah, and then you meet them in the parking lot. You walk them into the party that's going on, the community, the excitement in the courtyard. You have a special room, a special booth for them. You give them a special snack, a special coffee that only new people get. I mean, you could walk away just thinking, this church is incredible for new people.
You have, Todd, mark this down, kingdom cast members. Adam, are you getting this? Kingdom cast members. And they are on their device, and the people have said, we'll let you track us. You know, that little button you hit will allow you to kind of see where we're at. And so that cast member knows exactly when they pull up into their parking lot. They are meeting them as they get out of the door, and then showing hospitality to move their kids to all the different places. We can do that. That's called embracing technology, by the way, for kingdom purposes. So we need kingdom cast members go over the top with hospitality. Good.
Yeah,
Jake.
so what are your moments where you could elevate the moment there for elevation, for people to say, wow, that was just an everyday thing, but now it's taken to the top. One more story within this unit. A family took a trip to Florida, and they stayed at the Ritz-Carlton. And their little 5-year-old forgot his giraffe, Joshy, and they got all the way home, and he couldn't sleep that night, and he was worried about the giraffe. They called the hotel the next day, and they said they found little Joshy, and they're going to send it home. And so the boy's relieved. When he gets the package at home, there is a photo album of the little stuffed animal playing golf, hanging out by the pool, and being babysat by one of the bellhops. And the parents, when you think about it, they don't even remember really the experience on the vacation now. They just remember the hospitality shown to their son after the fact. I mean, the Ritz-Carlton didn't have to do this. They already had the money from the client, and now they're still just elevating the experience. So what could that look like in your organization? Moments of elevation. Take us to P.
The next one is called pride. Now, when I saw this, I was thinking negative pride in the Christian world. Pride is not good. Fear, it's kind of connected there. But this is, like we were talking about earlier, pride connected to being recognized for doing something extraordinary, like we were as youngsters. So what are some of the stories of recognizing others as found in the book there, Jake?
Yeah, moments that capture our best showing courage, we earn recognition, we conquer challenges. The book talks a lot about how in your workplace, people think, or your boss thinks that they're doing good by recognizing you, maybe to give you the employee of the month, which is just 1 month and you'll probably never get it again, by the way. Or then you get a special parking spot for a week, but then you'll never get it again. And so some research showed that, and I'm just gonna read some of this here, that while recognition is a universal expectation, it's really not a universal practice. 80% of supervisors claim they frequently express appreciation to their subordinates, while less than 20% of the employees report that their supervisors actually express appreciation more than occasionally.
That's a pretty big disconnect.
Pretty big disconnect.
80%. This is a lack of self-awareness.
They think they're doing it, but
by
it's really
the leaders,
not connected.
yeah.
So good news, the employees just want simple, spontaneous recognition. And so if you have anyone that you're leader, you should be recognizing them as often as possible, but spontaneous, not just in your one-on-ones, but we use a thing called BombBomb, if you haven't checked that out, video email, where you can send just, hey, great job at the project that we just did. You might not know this, but fill in the blank, you have this gift, this characteristic, and people will be elated for that. What are some other ones?
Yeah, I was on a call the other day with some of our leaders, and they were talking about how you were doing a great job and how I and probably Todd and Adam were doing a great job. Well, it was only me on the call and Jack Kalberg. And I had this overwhelming sense that, not that Jack was being disrespected at all, there just was a lack of maybe recognition for what he means within the ministry right now, helping us make really solid, timely decisions, especially around finances and ops. And so this metaphor came to mind, and I almost teared up, and I do love Jack as a brother in Christ, but I said something to the effect of, Jack is like the sun. He always rises up. Like, he's so consistent. He's just there. And like I said, you could see like this, that is, like the whole group said, that is right. It was a Holy Spirit inspired moment because Jack is connected to the Son, Jesus. So yeah, I don't always do that, by the way. But the power of metaphor, I think, even in recognition, Jack like the sun, Jake like a sweet popsicle, I don't know. but there's great power in elevating a godly sense of pride in the people we work with.
Tim, you're like a rushing river that just continues to flow and move people
we gotta move
to the
on
next
now.
place.
Okay.
I love Donor Choice. It's a website where teachers can go on there and they can elicit their opportunities to raise money for source funding for their classroom, especially in lower income. And what the donor doesn't expect is after they've given and then the project's been fulfilled for a school around the nation, then they get a whole box of handwritten letters from the kids. And so that really elevates and shows the pride that the kids have, and then it gives the donor a sense of pride. So in your organization, how can you elevate pride? The third one here is insights. Moments of insights spark discoveries about our world and ourselves. Sometimes epic moments are moments that deliver realization and transformation. So insights really come when we're being stretched. So how are you, leader, being stretched, and how are you stretching your team? I feel most alive and stretched when I'm starting new things, when I'm leading a team to start new things. And so it was way back in college when I led a mission trip to Alaska with a team. It was epic. I still remember the planning, the experience, and the leadership. It was when I helped start the homeless ministry with our amazing team here called La Mesa, the homeless church there. And it was epic. It's now where it's an epic moment of leading a team to launch a new campus. So also when you have other people you're leading, like vicars, interns, people that are on the job that are fresh, you need to be able to stretch them. And so, Tim, how have you seen our current vicar, Joel, student pastor, being stretched and him having, boom, light bulbs go off of insight?
Yeah, so the first time, just this past week, we're recording this in April, post-Easter, preaching to a lens. 20 minutes of dialogue into, not dialogue actually, a monologue into a lens, and then coming and having a conversation with him after saying, how was that? And Joel honestly saying it was strange. There were moments when I didn't feel connected to my content nor to the people I was communicating through a lens to. But here's what I know. The next time Joel preaches into a lens, he's going to take that 2 to 4 to 5% jump in comfort and connection. So insights definitely are sparked through discomfort.
I love it. So how are you stretching your team and your leadership for moments of insight? If you're not doing that, you need to do it. The fourth one here is connection. And so we had EPI, elevation, pride, insights, and now connection. Moments of connection deepen our relationships with others. It's your marriage is going rocky and you're like, I don't know how this is going to end up, but one of the spouses step up and a moment of connection. They do something pivotal to save the marriage. You're enduring a grueling experience with others and you then emerge on the team with just moments of connection. It's like right now for our Christ Greenfield team, going through coronavirus together, leading through this, having this podcast be elevated, having online worship. Our team will always have a connection to this moment. We were talking about it's a dream team. And we already felt that, but now we've lived it even more. It'll be an epic remembrance of a connection. So let's apply this to the church. How can you deepen relationships in a faith community? The easy one for us is to always elevate journey groups, small groups where people connect one to another. So if you're a leader of your church and you don't have a process or a system for a good small group, journey group focus, and you don't elevate that to one of the main 3 things that you're looking at, that you're putting in your bulletin, that you're talking about, that you're rapping about from the sermons, you got to do that to connect with people.
And small groups are so important because if Jesus only had 12, what makes pastors, goofy dudes like us, sinful dudes like us think that we can go deep and create meaningful experiences and connections with, for us, close to 2,000 people, maybe even larger than that in a digital connection. So that's ludicrous. You've got to have a small group of people. In this world, you will have trouble. It's not a might, it's not a maybe, it will happen. And when the crisis comes, you will have that seminal moment of growth connected to a smaller group of people who know and love and care for you. I just think about my maturation stage, kind of going back to high school. I was in this like leadership academy. The governor kind of invited a number of kids into that. I think I was one of 2 or 3 kids from my high school. And we got together with a whole bunch of other, I think juniors and seniors in the state of Colorado at the governor's palace, his mansion or whatever. I remember hanging out there and learning from all of these amazing business leaders at that time. And then developing like within a day, these deep connections with other leaders, you know, that their heart was humming to the exact same beat that my heart was humming to. And I remember, I don't remember their names, but I remember how I felt. And I bet they would look back and say the same.
That's amazing. It's amazing. I'll end with this final story of Alpha. Alpha is a group out of England that does its best job at connecting people that are seeking more out of life and meaning out of life and a connection to Jesus. And they bring them all into a room and they create this safe space and hospitable space. Now, with coronavirus that has happened, we're in that season of having to social distance, they now have gone online. And on the online Zoom call, before you get to the call and you've never interacted with the other people on the call, they've already sent a meal to your house. Because the hospitality in person usually is over a meal.
Food, yeah.
And so they've sent something to your house. Or they've sent a care package to your house. And so they've kind of wet your whistle. They've shown you this connection already to you. And it's all grace. It's all gift. You haven't done anything. You haven't paid for this. And they give you this gift. And then on the call, they've created a safe space for you to connect, to share your heart and share your thoughts. And they're seeing people now come to Jesus through this means. So for your organization, your church, your leadership, what kind of moments could you elevate? Could you show more, allow people to have more pride as they experience your recognition? Help people have stretching moments of insight, and then also create moments where they could connect one to another. Read the book, enjoy creating these moments, and also know God in his infinite wisdom creates them for us as well, and that's a good thing.
Thanks for joining us on Lead Time. This is episode 1 of season 3. Sharing is caring, get the word out, and we will continue to bring you really, really powerful conversations and interviews and insights, and we firmly believe that you have made the choice today to grow, and eternities are going to be changed because of it. Peace out. Thanks for joining us. Later. We're done with that one.
You hit me.
You have been listening to Lead Time with Tim and Jake. Please subscribe at cglchurch.org/leadtime. Thanks for listening.